Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Now today, this one should be a Season 10 discussion, a Champions Corner podcast perhaps, 7 videos about all the matchups coming to For Honor, but that's not what this video is about. I figured that if I cannot bring myself to care about any of it, then why would you care about the videos I make, right? Why would you care? Why would you enjoy those videos if I didn't enjoy making them, if I didn't care about making them, right? So I simply scrapped the video ideas I had, and this video is what we're stuck with for now. But plenty of other creators will have made their videos by the time this one is out, so I will link to Freeze's or Crack's videos, and you guys can go watch those and enjoy those. So I'm sure they will have a much higher standard of quality than mine would have anyway. But what I am here to do today is talk about what makes a For Honor hero S tier. This is kind of inspired by the recent deletion of the competitive tier list by Setmix, but not by the removal itself, which I don't care about and I don't think actually matters, but instead it's inspired by the threat that removal spawned. Don't go into it, it's a complete shithole, especially on the let's say downvoted parts of the thread. But a lot of people talked about not understanding why certain characters, for example Lawbringer being the most obvious example, were as high as they were on the tier list. Right? Why Lawbringer was A tier, I think in duels it was. So I'm here today to answer that question, but not specifically talking about Lawbringer, talking about whatever other specific character. I want this video to be one where you can watch this a year from now and understand what makes a hero strong. Right? You can watch this from a 2 year from now. It's not like anything will change in fucking For Honor, but you can watch this video a while in the future and you will still get some information out of it. Is hopefully the aim. Now I will have some random Hitokiri footage that I have in the background. It's just one like best of 9 duel, so I might have to loop it, or I might have to do something else. But I just have that. This time I didn't spend that much time recording or anything like that. I do appreciate Ubisoft letting me and other creators and other players as well do this recording and have this footage. But this time I kind of took a step back, let's say, from the content creation part. So yeah, don't worry about the footage itself too much. It's just background footage, so you don't have to look at this the entire time. I did shave just for this video, as I am on a break right now from school. But yeah, don't worry about the footage itself. Like, I throw into walls on Garbage for some reason. I don't know why. Like, Hitokiri does get a heavy on Garbage, but yeah, it's just a random like Hitokiri versus Lawbringer duel I had against like Crackers or something like that. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into the actual important part. Now, first I want to make this clear. This is not about how to make a fun hero or what makes a fun For Honor hero. This is not about what makes an exciting, what makes a good for the game For Honor hero. This is about what makes a strong, an S tier hero, right? Like, this is a very obvious but also very important distinction to make, because somebody like, I don't know, Jung is not fun to play against. He's not fun. You can't do really shit in 4v4. It's not a fun hero. Shinobi, obviously not a fun hero. Lawbringer, not a fun hero. This is before the rework, although I don't think that much has changed because of it. So a Raider as well, right? Not fun to play against. Nobushi, not fun to play against. Plenty heroes like that. Some stronger, some weaker, but those types of heroes will be the ones I'm going to be mostly talking about, because I can't really think of one hero that's fun to play against, and it's also S tier. Maybe Berserker, maybe Black Pride for certain people, but not for a lot of currents. So maybe there are some examples, but most of the time it's not really that way. So, some of the aspects. First of all, by the way, I want to talk about duels and then the minions. So, in duels, what makes a character strong? There. Some of the aspects are health, punishes, overall damage, which of course is also punishes, but overall damage, defensive capabilities. So that's things like hidden stance, block shot, but also having 100 ms zone option selects, or having overall strong option selects, having 100 ms heavies like Hitakiri, Aramusha, or Gladiator, right? Those are strong defensive tools. Movement speed, both locked and unlocked. Right, so like Shinobi, if he's locked onto you, you can't do shit if you're just walking backwards. Right, you feint a light, you feint heavy into a light as Zerker and just whiffs because the Shinobi happens to be walking backwards, kind of thing, right? And finally, offense. Now notice how offense was the last one. It was the last part of what makes a character strong, or what makes a character S tier in For Honor. Now the reason for that is there are no characters with overwhelming offense. I think you can say that there are certain characters that have offense, right? Offense that could work at a high level. Those characters are maybe Berserker, maybe Blackbriar, but I think after a lot of practice, Blackbriar wouldn't necessarily work, but you can kind of put Blackbriar in that kind of bin for now. The kind of category, maybe is a better word for now. Warden, right? Very heavy read-based gameplay, right? So those characters, yeah, you could then, for those characters, you could mention offense, Shinobi before the removal of slide tackle, pretty much in 1v1. Warlord before the removal of crushing charge, right? So there are certain characters that have offense. But because of how few of those there are and how offense overall in the game is absolutely terrible at a high level, well, it's not as important as the other parts. Right, so offense is not as important. Also, actually, one more thing that is important is recoveries as well. But that's mostly for 4v4, but for 1v1 as well. Because Blackbriar, of course, right? Blackbriar Bash, very difficult to punish because of the recovery. Shinobi Kick, similar idea. Alright, so those are the things that make a character really strong in 1v1. Now, you may notice that it doesn't sound very fun, no, does it? No, it is not. It's not fun to play, not fun to play against, and not fun to watch, or I don't know, just not fun, right? Just overall not fun. And I think that's a big problem that people had with the tier list, or overall with the competitive players, or things like that. That's not fun, and yeah, I don't think anyone will argue with that. I don't think anyone will argue that it's fun to play like that. It's obviously not. But the playstyle that this is kind of slated towards, or like the meta playstyle, is in 1v1 to get a health lead, if you can, and just kind of sit there, do nothing. Maps are really bad, so you play on like one map, and that's it, right? So you play on that one map, you play on the pit, because it's small enough that, and there's no ledges, no environmental hazards, so you just play on that map. You get a health lead and you either run around if you can, or you just kind of sit there and react post feints, because if you have good reaction times, you can react post feint, and you can react to 400 ms lights, and just kind of sit there, right? That's kind of it. Yeah, and that's kind of duels, right? Now, the reason why things like defensive capabilities, so hidden stance, block shot matters, is that, and combined with that, you combine punishes with that, right? The reason why those matter so much is because offense is so weak, any type of attack that happens, well, Nobushi or Lawbringer or Shinobi is going to punish those much, much better than a Valk, right? Valk might punish for 24, or whatever her dash light is, like 17 or whatever. She might punish for that much. Nobushi might punish for 60. Lawbringer might punish for 50. Shinobi might punish for like upwards of 50 something, right? Or 40 with the heavy. So that's why it matters so much to have good defense. Now there's also different kinds of defense, right? There's good defense against bashes, like Nobushi has. like Valk has, Shinobi has. There's also strong defense against blockable attacks, right? Like Shinobi has, like Nobushi as well, but Lawbringer is very strong here against blockable attacks. He's extremely strong with block shove. Of course, not after the rework, but I'm still kind of talking from Season 9 kind of perspective here. So those are the important parts, right? Those are the kinds of defense. I think that's enough to talk about. Like Punishers, of course, really important to have good damage, because you're going to be hitting your opponent so few times that every time that you hit them, you punish them for trying to press a button. Well, now that matters, right? Okay, so that's 1v1. I wanted to talk about this. I think it's very important to understand that this is the way to play 1v1. Now, a very kind of popular, I think, counter argument or kind of counterpoint or something like that would be that, okay, so what about a tier list for low level? What about a tier list for casuals? What about a tier list for, I don't know, platinum player or whatever, like whatever the specifics, the specific category that the person chooses to be. And it's like, that's not really possible. You can't really have a casual tier list, because that's much more dependent on your personal preference, your personal strengths and weaknesses. Just whatever. I don't like playing against Orochi, and then it's like, well, okay, so I guess Orochi is S tier for me. But then the other person is like, well, you just block, and then it's fine. So for them, he's not very good. Like a tier list for there's more reasons for that, for why tier lists like that don't really work. But yeah, they don't really work. So even though you may disagree with it, and you may kind of see it as not applicable to your gameplay, which fair enough, it may not be applicable to your gameplay. That's fine. I think it's still important to know what makes a character strong. So you see a new character. What are their punishes? What's their defense? What's their movement speed? What's their health? You know, what's their overall damage? You think about those things and you can understand, is the hero strong or is he not in 1v1. Now for 4v4, because that is the main game mode of the game, all of those things do still matter, because 1v1s do happen, right? But there's also added things like movement speed evolves kind of into blocked and unlocked, sure, but also into sprint speed, right? Shugoki, very slow. Highlander, extremely slow. Shaolin, Peacekeeper, Shinobi, very quick. Can rotate a lot better. Shaman, right? Can rotate a lot better. 4v4 also chase potential, very important. Shaolin, forward dodge heavy, decently quick, good damage on it, can chain, can feint it, very important, very strong range on it, right? So he has good chase potential. Hitokiri, not really. Conqueror, not really. Most of the heroes in the game, not really any potential there for chasing, right? What else is there for V4? Of course, AoE attacks, right? Those are important. Are your hitboxes good? Hitokiri hitboxes are garbage. They're really, really bad. I can tell you that for a fact already, right? Hitokiri hitboxes are terrible. At the same time, Nobushi hitboxes, very strong. Kansai hitboxes, good. Blackbriar hitboxes, alright. For the unblockable, it's pretty alright. Good range as well on those attacks, right? So range, hitboxes, very important. Another thing, mid control. How good is a hero in mid? Now, the most important requirement for this is having body count. If you don't have body count, you're strictly not a good mid hero, right? In the way that the meta works right now. Blackbriar is a okay. Shaolin is an okay mid hero, as in they can come every now and then to mid, clean it up, and go do something else. But mid heroes never leave to go do something else; they only stay in mid. So that's why you have to have body count, because you're always in mid, so you have to be able to keep healing. Also in mid you can unlock your attacks on minions, right? You can lock onto minions and attack them, as long as they're enemy minions. So having the hitboxes, having the AoE, having the range, still important. For those heroes as well, as I said, body count, other feats like second wind, important. Smoke bomb, important. So you have those kind of things for a mid hero, right? Good defensive capabilities. Right? Now for other heroes, or for other kind of roles, there's ganks, of course. Now ganks are very weak these days, especially now that Lawbringer and Raider ganks have been heavily nerfed. But I mean, still having a gank potential is important. So that's heroes like Berserker, Shaolin in a no revenge environment with revenge. I don't know, Shinobi, kinda Shaman, but they're gonna get revenge anyway. I don't know, there's not many heroes that have decent even ganks with revenge. But without revenge, which is what competitive is kind of being played on right now, unless Season 10 fixes it. So this is kind of like a... You can put an asterisk here, right? It could be played with revenge again, like it had been for the entire duration of the game. Not many good ganks. It used to be Lawbringer gang very strong, Raider gang pretty okay, Shaman gang very, very strong. All of those have been nerfed to ground. Shinobi gang used to be very, very strong. Now it's good, but it's not like amazing. Alright, what else is there for a 4v4 hero? Anti-gank, it's pretty nice, right? Low recoveries. Here's where recoveries matter a lot. Nobushi, due to hidden stance, due to cancelling with dash, extremely low recoveries, extremely strong 4v4 hero. One of the best of all time, right? And throughout all metas, she's always been there. Always been like a solid top 2 hero, right? Extremely broken, one could say. Other heroes like, I don't know, Shugoki, not really the best recovery, right? Pretty bad recovery. Valk, pretty bad recoveries. So those are not good 1vx heroes. But 1vx is not as important. 1v1 is not as important as being able to rotate, being able to chase, being able to stay in mid, right? And being able to be a good group fighter. Now, there's very few characters who can do all of those things, right? I don't think there's any characters that can do all of those things. There are some that can do a few of those, like Shaman, good chase potential, good rotations, okay team fights, and pretty good ganks, right? In no revenge situations, the best ganks in the game. Right? So she can do like 3.5 of those things. You can kind of team fight. She can kind of like punish things from afar. Like that's kind of what she does, right? But most characters are, you know, specialized. Nobushi, group fighter, 1vx, kind of good 1vx, and mid. 3 things she can do, nothing else. Feats, of course, are very important, but feats usually, you know, help with specialization, right? Nobushi, her feats help her do the things that she can already do. Now she can do them better. Body count, smoke bomb, second wind, and fire bomb, right? Or whatever it's called, fire trap. Those feats help her do the things that she's meant to do, right? So they can help shape a playstyle or help reinforce a playstyle. Shaolin, his tier 2, helps chase people down, finish them off, which he usually struggles with, actually. He struggles finishing people off. So that's very nice for him to be able to do that a little bit better. Very good rotation with his tier 4, right? Now, for Shaolin, what's really nice is that his tier 3 changes the way he plays, because now he becomes a good team fighter, because he can heal his entire team, or in the AoE, of course, that the team is in, he can heal them for 12 health every time his attack gets blocked, parried, or it hits, right? So feats can also change a playstyle, but that's, I think, going a little bit too far, go a little bit too deep, I guess. So those are the important parts of a 4v4 hero. Number 1, hitboxes, right? AoE, hitboxes, range as well, very important. 2, damage, very important as well. Jungjun damage was insane. It's still good, but it was absolutely insane. The Bushi damage very strong as well. Shinobi damage very strong as well, right? Recoveries, very, very important. Look at the recoveries of a character, and you'll be able to tell whether they're a good hero at certain things already, just by looking at their recoveries. Their feats, important. They can shape a playstyle, as I said. Ganks, important. Can they gank or can they not? That's a big part of the character, especially in a no revenge situation, because with revenge, again, with how bad revenge is right now, or season 9, That doesn't really matter whether you can gank or not, because the answer is no, you cannot really gank. So all those things, right? Being able to be in mid because of those certain things, being able to be a good group fighter because of those things, being able to be good at 1v1 because of the things I mentioned. But the problem with being good at 1v1 is that in 4v4, 1v1s don't really happen, or there's two people on a point from different teams, but they're not fighting. It's not really a 1v1 because they're just kind of running around a pillar or running around whatever, or just looking at each other. Because what's the point of really trying to fight if you can just run around because of how bad the maps are, right? So being good at 1v1 is not important in 4v4. It's nice to be able to finish somebody off, like Shaolin, Shaman, right? So those are important. Chase potential helps here. But other than that, being good at 1v1 doesn't really help. Having hyper armor, actually, chains, good chains. I forgot to mention those two things. Hyper armor and chains help in 4v4, especially chains. Having ways to guarantee damage. There's a lot of different things that I didn't mention here. Defensive capability is extremely important, but I already mentioned them in 1v1. But in 4v4, they're also very important. Alright, so this was kind of like rambling, right? I know that I'm sure you've noticed that there wasn't really much of a format to this. And I didn't want there to be one because I wanted to just kind of talk without having to script everything that I say, and just having my thoughts out there, right? Which maybe makes it worse, maybe makes it better. I don't know. You can let me know. But yeah, those are the like important things that you have to look at when a new hero or a rework comes out. Right? All of the things that I mentioned, you have to look at them and be like, okay, well, as you look at them, you're like, okay, well, are they good or are they not? And you're gonna be able to tell just by looking at those things. Yeah. And I think that's kind of it. So thank you for watching. Again, if you were expecting a podcast, Crack's already doing one. If you were expecting dual gameplay, Crack, I'm sure most others are already doing that. If you're expecting a Hitokiri, Punishers video, Hitokiri features video, I'm sure Freeze and I'm sure Crack are doing those as well. So just watch those people. There's not really much of a point of me making those. Like when I made one for Blackbriar, I didn't really I didn't really bring anything new to the table. So I didn't feel like it was needed for me to make one here. So thank you all for watching. I don't know if I'm going to be making any videos soon. Probably not. For Honor is dead, and I'm not interested in it. But I might make a video every now and then, maybe like a guide or something. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you didn't hate this too much. Sorry for my face existing in this video. And yeah, see you guys whenever.